You smell that, guys? It's kind of an overpowering stench, because to me, it smells like love is in the air today as we go through Valentine's Day in the dangers in my heart. Now, I've said this a lot this season already in reviews, but this is one of our, big scenes of the season. Non-ironically, I know I say that every week, but this is actually, one of the, really, really good scenes, because a lot is said in this episode without being said. We will get into it. And man, all the time throughout the show, we're used to our boy Ichikawa being the one panicking, being the one that's going crazy, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? This time, we get to see that from Yamada's perspective. And that's one thing I really love about the show, man, is that both characters can be goofy as shit. Because I love that. I really do love that. That, yeah, love can be goofy. Love can be quirky. But the heart is there. That's why I like this series so much. So let's get into it, and let's talk about that. We get into Dangers in My Heart, Season 2, Episode 4 today. And immediately, as we start off, we get some goofiness right away. Our girl Yamada walking back and forth through the hall, just soliciting chocolate from the first years at the school. I like how she's like, hey, this is your 5th time already. Don't rob them blind. And it's here we see our boy Ichikawa is keenly aware of what day it is today. So is Adachi, by the way, as he says, we need to call for the end of obligatory chocolates, damn it. Guys, rise up. Petition. That is until Moeko puts out the obligatory chocolates and all the guys swarm it like pigeons, including Adachi. I do love the fact that Moeko always messes with Ichikawa, guys. She literally put all the chocolates on his desk, knowing that he wouldn't come up and grab one. Here you go. I figured you'd do that. You can take this one. And Yamada's just like, yoink, mine now. Eats it and says, I'm a guy for the day now, too. Moeko just gives her a look like, yeah, I knew you'd do that. We even see Adachi going crazy here saying, bro, there's a heart in my chocolate right here. It's gotta mean something, right? This has gotta mean something. So clearly, love is in the air. As we see that Yamada clearly wants to express that. So now, let's go through all the quirky ways Yamada tries to express that this episode, because there's a lot. First things first, chocolate shoji. So using the chocolate that she extorted, received kindly from the first years, it's time to play some chocolate shoji. And Ichikawa has no idea what's going on. What are we doing here? But right as our game begins, Yamada concedes and gives him all the chocolate. The winner's gotta take all the chocolate after all, guys. Now, obviously, this is her trying to give him chocolate in a more subtle, more casual kind of way, But all this really does is confuse Ichikawa even more, because she's not being direct. And it's here as we see how much Adachi's freaking out about that peanut-shaped heart in his chocolate. Moko's like, I shouldn't have done that. I know better. I know what these morons are gonna do. You can't give them obligatory. You gotta make it clear how you feel to them. As Yamada picks that up loud and clear. I will say before we move on, it is kind of adorable how Yamada just yoinks Ichikawa aside just so they can go watch Hara give out some chocolates here. It is adorable, but it only exacerbates Yamada's concerns right now. Real quick, I actually do want to talk about their conversation they have on the bike on our way to our next little scene, because it is actually kind of important. As they're riding along and they're reminiscing about the first time that they did this, and Ichikawa tells her, I was scared stiff when we drove by the police station before, because this is illegal to do this, by the way, guys, in case you guys didn't know. And he even tells Yamada, like, I almost told you to get off the bike, but after you told me what? You're scared of a little bit of change. I couldn't exactly do that. As he tells her, Yamada, you live for change in your life. You wouldn't get how I feel about that. But we're seeing slowly, Yamada is starting to understand how Ichikawa feels on that subject a little bit. And what I mean by that is she's starting to slowly understand why Ichikawa kind of wants things to just stay like they are right now. That's what I mean by that. She's starting to kind of understand that, as she even says it herself. Because I'm so happy right now, I'm kind of afraid for things to change now. She's starting to get an idea of how he's feeling little by little. I love how they both truly start to understand the other's perspective as our series goes on. And it's here we move on to attempt number 2 in Yamada's Valentine's Day plan, as they go to the convenience store, and our boy Ichikawa notices the mountain of chocolate that this girl extorted, was gifted from the first years. And this leads Yamada to directly, but indirectly, asks Ichikawa, what sort of chocolate would make you think that it really means something, that it's not obligatory? And after thinking on it for a second, Ichikawa just tells her, I might not know unless I was told directly so. Now, I personally believe Yamada already knew that answer, but she just kind of wanted to have it confirmed by him himself. She even looks at the chocolate in her hand. She gives that to him. As we see that Ichikawa is still a bit confused. Or at least he's pretending to be. As we see, he gets some chocolate on his face. So Yamada, very aggressively, I would say, decides to help him with that. As we see, she put a heart on his face. And I'll tell you guys right now, I think Ichikawa understood that loud and clear. He's not stupid, but he can't accept that it's true. So because of this, our boy's got to make a move of his own. And it's here as we see Yamada is very conflicted about whether to give him her actual chocolate that she made. We see that Ichikawa actually goes and chases her down, and they meet back up. And it's here he actually gives her chocolate here and tells her, you said you were a guy today, right? Making his feelings very clear to her. And now, Yamada's been put in kind of an awkward situation. I do love the fact that he gets home and starts freaking out like, why'd I give her a candy that's called Melty Kiss? What am I doing here? But all of a sudden, as our boy looks at his phone, he starts sprinting to the door. And that scene actually had me dying, because you literally hear him sprinting to the door in the episode. But as he opens it, he sees Yamada's in front of his house right now. I like how she tries to play it off to him like, I was just changing my dog's walking schedule. That is, I wanted to change the pace. And look, your house was just conveniently there. So let's talk a little bit, Ichikawa. No other reason. And as they're walking here, there's some very clear tension here. And after a failed attempt at vending machine gambling, it's time to have our little chat. And it's here we see Yamada's just yapping about anything right now, desperately trying to get a conversation going, so this isn't awkward. As Ichikawa just tells her, you're being really weird today. As she tells him, I'm always weird. And he tells her, yeah, that's true. That's for sure. But it's here. We can't keep dancing around the topic anymore. We have to be direct. As she directly asks Ichikawa, did you get any chocolate today from people that aren't your family? And he tells her, no. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, that's mean as hell. She clearly tried to give him chocolate earlier in the day. But in this situation, guys, let me tell you, that was the right answer that he gave her. No, I did not. That will give her the push she needs now. As Ichikawa asks her, did you give out any chocolate today? And she tells him directly, no, I didn't give out any obligatory chocolate. Key word right there. And he picks that up loud and clear. As he gets all self-conscious, like, I kind of agree with Adachi, we should get rid of obligatory. It gives guys the wrong idea. And it's here in that cue, Yamada musters her courage and gives Ichikawa her homemade chocolate here. Now, I want you guys to pay attention that it has half a word on that. Remember that for later. It has half a word on it. As Yamada tells him directly, it's okay to get the wrong idea this time. As we see that Ichikawa definitely knows what that really means, whether he'll accept it or not. But it's here, Yamada starts crying because she thinks she messed this up. She thinks she didn't do this right, but more importantly, that her feelings did not get across. And Ichikawa's quickly got to start panicking, like, no, it's good, I promise, it's really good. As she says, all right, if I didn't mess this up, give me another hug. Which, of course, he does, because who's going to say no to that? As we end up getting a nice little scene here. And as we transition back to Ichikawa in his room later that night, as he's examining this chocolate, the little dummy pieces it together. He knew from the beginning, but now it's directly in his face. Yamada likes me. She likes me. He knows this. He knows this. But he cannot accept it yet. He can't believe it to be true. We'll get into that more later in our season. I do think it's really adorable the next day how it's a little awkward between them, but it's still really freaking adorable here. As we see our boy Adachi is stressed AF, thinking, I gotta get Moeko something for White Day, man. That chocolate-shaped nut had to mean something. As Ichikawa starts thinking to himself, that's right, I got chocolate from Yamada. He's got to convince himself that. Now comes the struggle of what this man's going to do for White Day. Now, if you don't know, White Day, which you probably do, White Day is, I believe, a month after Valentine's Day, where the guys actually give chocolates back to the girls that gave them chocolates. So now our boy Ichikawa is stressing, like, what am I going to give Yamada now? It's hilarious how Chi tells Moeko, hey, you need to set this man straight over here. He's going wild. And she's like, I'll let him figure out what it meant. She casually lets slip, I'd kind of love some ear pods if they just happen to show up in my hand on White Day. This moron said, I'm gonna get her lingerie. Like, what the fuck? What an idiot, dude. As Kanzaki says, I'm gonna do an all-you-can-eat buffet as my gift, which feels a little mean for Hara, honestly. I'll be honest there, but hey, whatever. As Ichikawa says, that's a good idea, The hard part is asking the girl out. This little dummy just let it slip. And Adachi did not miss it, as he said, wait, you got chocolate? You? As Ichikawa's like, yeah, I guess I did. Really adorable how Yamada's in the corner like, don't look over here. Don't look over here. As this moron Adachi's like, yeah, I bet she's ugly anyway, man. Bro, Yamada would strangle this man right now if he knew. But it's here. We're gonna go into kind of an awkward situation. As we see Ichikawa and Adachi are walking, he's talking to him about, I want to be direct with Moeko. I want to tell her how I'm really feeling. So we need to go get some advice from a love guru. And who should it be but our upperclassman, Nanjo. This guy. I like how Ichikawa even says, oh, that's right, this guy still exists. It is awkward between the two of them. As this man tells Adachi, I don't really get a bunch of girls, but I can just tell when the mood's right, when I have a chance. Ichikawa tells him directly, no, You can't. As Adachi says, yeah, me and this guy, we got some chocolates, so we're just wondering what to give back. As he's like, oh, you got some chocolates now, huh? Knowing exactly who would give them to him. And it's here Adachi starts saying, I don't really know what the girl that gave me chocolate likes, though. Should I try to figure that out first? As Nanjo says, nah, no point in that. Guys and girls can never really know each other. And Ichikawa immediately calls him on that bullshit. And I really love the development for Ichikawa here because he knows that's bullshit. As he tells him, girls are a completely different animal. Different upbringing, different tastes, different values. But when you get to know them, you find out what you have in common. Finding out what you can share or understand about each other. And forming a genuine connection. And it immediately gets awkward because Ichikawa is essentially telling him that that's why you're never going to get Yamada. Because you never even attempted to understand her even one time. And you never will. And I like how as they're leaving, Ichikawa literally tells Adachi that, you helped me learn and realize these kind of things about love more than this guy does, Adachi. And I kind of agree because Adachi's a freaking idiot, but he's blunt. He's direct about what he wants. And that is a good thing when it comes to relationships. Maybe dial it back a bit, but still, that's a good thing. And right as Ichikawa's leaving here, as Yamada sees him out the window and waves to him, this guy, she notices that this guy's here, and he tries to wave to her. And Ichikawa literally slaps his hand aside and waves at Yamada right here, making his intentions clear again. As he even tries to tell him directly here, like, hey, I like Yamada. Stop doing that shit. But it's here we see that Yamada actually goes down there and pulls Ichikawa away as she tells him, goodbye, sayonara. Now, you guys might think this is just a random throwaway line, but no. This is her directly saying goodbye to him. Like we're done. This is over. That's what this scene really is supposed to symbolize right here. Of her pulling Ichikawa away and telling this guy goodbye forever. That's the reason we hang on him here at the end of our episode as he watches both of them walk away happily as our episode ends. Lots of very little subtle things in this episode, guys. There was a lot more to break down than I actually thought there would be, but I just wanted to make it very clear about the significance of these scenes to you guys. I wanted you guys to understand that this show, I told you in the first season, my initial first video, this show does a lot of little subtle things in it that you kind of have to pay attention to a little bit to really catch everything. That's why I love this show so much, because it is so expressive without actually saying that much. That's why this show is the best romance series we've gotten in such a long time. Very adorable episode. I'm extremely happy. I can't wait for our next couple episodes, because I think I'm pretty sure I remember what's going to come next in our next couple episodes, and I'm looking forward to it. Expect a great video from me on that. But until next time, guys, I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this extremely adorable episode, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.